Iran's Foreign Minister Javad Zarif is responding to tough talk from the United States after the administration called for European allies to pull out of the landmark nuclear treaty with Iran. In an exclusive interview with NBC's Richard Engel in Munich, Zarif said it's time for the U.S. to stop being obsessed with his country. Take a listen.
If you look at the rhetoric out there, do you think there's a risk that there will be some sort of war, some sort of military clash between Iran, the United States, Israel?
Well, certainly some people who were successful in creating a war last time are hard at it again. But I think at the end of the day, some sense will prevail and people will find out that it's suicidal to engage in a war with Iran.
Powerful words there. Joining me now is NBC's chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel, who is at the Munich Security Conference. Richard, tremendous interview. Thank you for joining me. Let me get right to the questions. Your interview comes just a day after Vice President Mike Pence accused Iran of pursuing another Holocaust, and after the Prime Minister of Israel told our Andrea Mitchell, the host of this show, that no options are off of the table. What were your key takeaways from your interview today?
Well, if you look at those two statements combined, Vice President Pence at a conference in Poland that was designed to pressure Iran said that Iran is not only trying to pursue another Holocaust, but also the means to carry out another Holocaust. And then you have the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu talking to talking to Andrea Mitchell about the possible conflict. He had talked about in a speech war, how the U.S. and how the Arab allies and Israel have a common interest, potentially in having war or confronting Iran. None of that is lost on Iran, and the Iranian foreign minister today sounding the alarm. I also asked him, does Iran want to find a way out of this situation? President Trump is going in a short while, in a couple of weeks, to meet with the leader of North Korea, certainly a piece of unorthodox diplomacy. And I asked him, would Iran be interested in doing something similar? And he said, not really.
Fascinating.
President Trump has said he's open to meeting one day with your president, the Iranian president, potentially to renegotiate the Iran deal.
Why should we renegotiate a deal which we spent not just a couple of hours meeting, but 13 years to negotiate? And we negotiated with the United States. It was probably the longest negotiations that the U.S. Secretary of State personally had, and an Iranian foreign minister, plus 5 other countries. Why should we trust President Trump that he would abide by his own signature?
So, Kristen, I would say there were 3 takeaways from this interview. 1, Iran is warning that it is hearing the drumbeats of war again, and that the same people who led to the Iraq war are at it one more time. 2, that he's not interested, that Iran is not interested in relitigating a deal with President Trump because it doesn't feel that President Trump has credibility. And 3, something of a headline here. If you remember a few days ago, the New York Times reported that the Trump administration had accelerated efforts which had been stopped when President Obama reached the Iran nuclear deal, that the Trump administration had reignited efforts to sabotage Iran's missile systems. And recently Iran had 2 failed missile launches, and the foreign minister said that Iran is now reinvestigating those launches to see if they may have been caused by American sabotage.
Well, Richard Engel, clearly one of the most difficult foreign policy issues that this administration, that past administrations have faced. Thank you so much for all of your reporting, and congratulations on that interview. Appreciate it.
Sure.